Hi all.
Now you will hear a brief retelling of the film Overboard.
Enjoy watching.
Dean Proffitt is a skilled carpenter who was hired to work on a huge yacht.
He needs to remodel his closet.
Extremely unpleasant and rude rich woman Joanna, the release of which the whole team suffers.
With every word and action,
She makes it clear to the hard workers
how much he disgusts her.
Joanna flaunts in front of him in extremely revealing swimsuits.
That's why Dean immediately notices the birthmark on her butt.
Her husband is busy with all sorts of bullshit.
Then shoots at plates with a gun.
Then from a bow with arrows with suction cups. After 48 hours, which required a lot of patience from Dean, miracle. The cabinet with the mechanism was ready, but the lady is still unhappy.
She definitely needed shelves made of cedar.
And this Neanderthal dared to make oak shelves, although the material was not even discussed.
After an argument, a woman refuses to pay for work and kicks the carpenter of the yacht. He finally tells her everything.
What boiled over these 2 days, and this makes all the yacht workers happy.
But a vile woman pushes the dinosaur and commands the captain to go full speed ahead.
Little of that the carpenter did not receive his $600 for the work done.
He also lost all his tools. A man complains about life to his friend Billy,
And Joanna complains about her mother's carpenter,
who lives in some unreal ornate mansions. Dean is a single father raising 4 mischievous children, and they almost burned the headmistress, who came to congratulate them on their first day at the new school.
The family recently moved.
At night, drunk FIFA remembered
That I forgot my wedding ring on the deck, and followed him. In heels, she loses her balance and FLIs overboard.
husband heard a cry for help.
But I just turned the TV up louder. The next day, the local news reports there's an unknown woman in the water, picked up by a passing garbage truck, and that she suffers from amnesia. A rich man sees an interview with his wife.
She may have lost her memory,
But remained the same bitch.
during identification,
Jonah created a scandal throughout the hospital, and the rich man decided
that he would still be better off without her.
it's her no. I'm seeing her for the first time. But when a carpenter saw a woman on TV,
He was very happy about this news.
he comes to the hospital and says that the lady found is his wife ANI.
The only personal items she had on her were panties.
But the woman refuses to admit that this dork, her husband Dean, on the fly invents details of their joint past.
But Joanna demands proof. And then Dean talks about that same mole on his butt.
Something some rogue would certainly not know about. And the police doctors are finally happy. Get rid of a problem patient. Go to daddy. Hey, not shocked by that you will have to live in a shack among rusty troughs.
Inside is no better than half a back and creaks.
Things and rubbish are scattered everywhere.
It's time to meet the boys' kids. Dad has already processed it. That's why they unanimously call a stranger a mother. Beloved mama. They find her dress,
Which would be more suitable for a chubby little guy. Greek Charlie twins.
which are not alike.
Chubby guy's name is Travis, and the petty robber Jerry. Annie immediately finds out,
That her mother died of alcoholism.
and the father hopes for early liberation. After such revelations, Dina sends her wife to the kitchen, and she has no idea what should she do with the chicken carcass and vegetables. And for the first time in my life, lighting the stove.
The incompetent immediately got burned.
Fortunately, there were fire extinguishers on hand. Dean is going to have a beer with friends this evening and roll some balls in the bowling alley, and he will return whenever he wants.
Man showing off to friend how he rehabilitates the rich girl and pours his cheap booze onto his clothes.
He was going to shock his guest and, pretending to be drunk,
Climbed into her bed, and if Annie doesn't want to share a bed with her husband, then she should sleep on a hard sofa.
the dogs got scared of lightning and gave her a fun night.
In addition, the roof is leaking and she has to sleep with buckets in her hands.
Children need to be taken to school early in the morning.
And miracle MOM. How can he prepare them a snack? Dean also left for work. It's time to clean the house.
And in this case, the lady, of course, the skills are zero.
After everything that happened to her that day, Annie has been sitting still for an hour and barely blinking.
The boys ask their father to exchange it for a new one.
One brings the wife to her senses, dipping it in a barrel of water.
My life is worse than death. My children are the spawn of hell. Later woman
Roams around the house, looking for photographs and family heirlooms.
that could give her back her memory.
But as it turned out, they all
Got lost while moving,
Suddenly, for a moment, she remembered the closet.
which the carpenter made for her,
At night, Dina turns to Billy.
so that he would fake family photos for him.
He used Joanna's photo, which were made
when the scavengers caught her. That's why she turned out to be a gloomy woman everywhere. She was convinced
that her place is in this hell. Billy comes to Dean's place to watch football, and he's making fun of his housekeeper again,
and says that Belly is her school crush. The guys put glue on the plates,
and they stuck tightly to I's hands. In addition, the little one sprays her with ketchup, woman freaking out, but he understands that he can take revenge on them, and sprays the whole group with water from a hose.
Boys at school refuse to take tests to assess their mental potential, and the headmistress calls both parents to school.
Children allegedly pretended to be sick, but Annie sees that they actually have a rash all over their body
and runs into the teacher. This is what she does best.
It becomes clear that same evening
that Joey can't read and is very embarrassed about it, and he reprimands Dean for
that he was going to hang around somewhere at that time, how their children got sick. Returning late at night, he glances around the kitchen and evaluates how much cleaner the house has become.
The man wants to apologize to A&I,
but she's crying because she's also covered in a rash.
He took pity and carried his pseudo-wife to a comfortable bed.
During a family vacation in nature, Dean and Bill discuss the idea of building a miniature golf course, and A&I unexpectedly, I spoke French to myself.
She also recalls various wonders of the world, who become
the basis of the mini golf course project.
The next evening, Dean goes bowling again.
Only he forgot the ball at home,
and he goes after him to convey the charm. But the local petty shop doesn't have it. Turns out he unloads bags of fertilizer every night.
Dean's Billy presents a mini golf project to investors,
which should become a local landmark.
And he manages to convince them to give him money.
Construction work has begun, and Dean's conscience begins to torment her.
That he is deceiving a woman.
Joy is already reading a little,
and other guys no longer rush around the house mindlessly,
and are busy with quieter things.
Arriving home, he started talking about
that he is ashamed,
because he is hiding something from Enya.
She thinks, what does he mean by his nightly forays? However, the man wants to tell her the whole truth.
But he doesn't dare and lies. It's my wife's birthday today. Having a lot of fun at the bar. Annie,
I was delighted with the taste of champagne for $8.
Although just recently, I turned my nose up at black caviar. Dina tells a romantic legend, in which everyone died in the name of love, and kiss her on the lips.
And then they finally have their first wedding night. Meanwhile, Grant has a blast with 3 girls.
But unfortunately, he still has to return to the town for his wife,
since Joanna's mother threatens to incite thugs on him if he doesn't call her daughter to the phone again.
And he finds her initialed panties in Dean's truck and throws a scandal at him.
The man thinks that this is a great reason to finally tell the truth and blurts out that these panties are hers and she is not his wife.
He asks the boys to confirm his words, but they are already accustomed to the new mother and stick to the old version.
Bobby doesn't help either,
which is recognized that these are his panties, so Joanna remained in the dark for now. Finally, mini golf is officially opening in the city. During the speech, one thanks his wife for her help
and confesses his love to her.
A limousine was waiting near the family's house, from which Joanna's real husband came out.
And when the woman saw him,
she finally got her memory back.
She is very happy about it,
and also because she actually has a lot of money.
But then she began to wonder.
What did she forget in this wilderness? Why did Dean do this to her? You're that sweaty carpenter
who hates me. She's no more.
No, Eni is not his wife, and these boys are not their mother. A woman entered the house
to pick up your things.
But I realized that there was nothing there.
The boys chased the limousine and their second mother. But Grant drove them away. Jonah is finally back on her expensive yacht.
But she has already lost the habit of an idle life
and prefers beer to champagne.
She offers her mother delicacies,
which makes everyone confused.
Because that's what servants are for. Well, the rich ones experienced a real shock.
When the lady opened her beer, the furniture at Dean's house is falling out of hand, and the boys were determined to bring their mother back. But the father does not share their illusions.
While MOM is sleeping, and the husband is transmitted by the memory of the girls,
Joanna hangs out with the staff and teaches them the ropes.
Drinking tequila their company is much more pleasant for her.
And now she understands
how terribly she behaved with ordinary people. A woman decides to take life into her own hands, and personally turns the yacht around. But hubby changes course again the next morning. That same morning, the man decides to catch up and return Joanna, helps him with the boys, Billy and his friends on a military boat. During the showdown, grand let slip that he threw her into hospitals and could no longer hold back.
Also recognized
That all this time he was having fun with slutty girls. Woman abruptly stops yacht. And then he sees a boat with his man and children. They've almost caught up with her.
But the Coast Guard receives a report of poachers.
And they have to turn around.
However, this does not stop Dean,
And he jumps into John's water.
follows his example, and floats towards his beloved carpenter.
Like the lovers in the legend they told earlier. True, it all ended with the drowning of the heroes. But this is not about our couple. Because they are wearing life jackets. They are rescuers nearby.
In John's boat confesses that she won't even become poor.
Because this is her wealth, not my husband.
And the guys immediately started making a list of everything.
What would they like to receive? How to spell Porsche?